Thank you all. Good morning. In December 2023, back in the Finance Deputies and Sherpas meeting we had in Brasilia, our opening meeting of the G20, our President Lula, stated that we want to seriously address the debate on the anachronism of global governance institutions which no longer have adequate representation. A few months before, at the General Assembly at the United Nations in September, he stated that the principle on which multilateralism is based, that of sovereign equality among nations, has been eroded. In the main instance of global governance, negotiations in which all countries have a voice and vote have lost momentum. When institutions reproduce inequalities, they are part of the problem, not the solution. The unequal and distorted representation in the leadership of the unacceptable. The foundations of a new economic governance have not been laid. This session arrives straight from our President's views and of the Brazilian government. It's a long-standing tradition of our financial diplomacy, having this fundamental objective of promoting discussions and improvements in global economic governance. We drafted a note, which was circulated to you, in our view a balanced note, in a constructive tone, in a reasonable manner, to bring the discussions on IMF reform to the IFA working group table. I'll read a few sections of its introduction before giving back the floor to the co-chairs. Later, the IMF will make a presentation. We will be happy to hear your views. The IMF, now I'm reading parts of the note. The IMF is a unique and uniquely valuable institution with a nearly universal membership, currently including 190 countries. Its role as provider of macroeconomic information and research, policy analysis, advice and surveillance, technical assistance, and lender in times of economic distress are, for all practical purposes, currently irreplaceable. The quota-based governance structure is the cornerstone of the nature of the IMF as an international financial institution. Quotas play different but closely related roles. They determine the contribution of each member to the fund, their share in general SDR allocations, and their voting power, and they are an integral part of the policies regulating access to the fund's resource. As such, quotas are critical for the fund's financial soundness, effectiveness, and legitimacy. While the IMF Articles of Agreement do not prescribe how quotas should be set, quota shares have been historically related to, but not strictly determined by, factors including the political influence of member countries, the economic weight, degree of economic and financial integration, and capacity to contribute to the IMF. The quota shares change from time to time by agreement of the membership. However, these changes are slow and generally lag the transformations in the structure of the world economy. This leads to significant misalignments in the quota shares when compared, for example, with current country shares in global GDP, or even with the calculated quota shares according to the current quota formula. Moreover, beyond governance, an adequate level of quotas in line with economic weight, capacity to contribute, and potential need for IMF financial support is critical to ensure that the fund remains financially sound, with sufficient resource to face the risks to the global financial stability, and capable of properly serving the membership. A well-resourced and legitimate IMF will remain as the cornerstone of an effective global financial safety net. In this context, the G20 has consistently acknowledged the urgency of and importance of realignment in quota shares to better reflect members' relative positions in the world economy while protecting the quota shares of the poorest members. This is a great language. In a communique of its finance ministers and central bank governors meeting in July 2024 in Rio de Janeiro, the G20 welcomed the IMF Executive Board's ongoing work to develop by June 2025 possible approach as a guide for further quota realignment, including through a new quota formula, under the 17th General Review of Quotas, and availed itself to act constructively to help build momentum at the IMF Executive Board. So, this is where our session starts, and we'll be happy and eager to listen to your views after the presentation of the IMF. Yeah, thank you.